Hey guys, Rue here with another video for Blender, and this one's gonna be a critique of work by François. And yes, I missed speaking French. And this is a really cool one because you can clearly see that the guy knows what he's doing. When I saw this image, I was like, damn, that's pretty good composition, you know. This is really decent, right? So, I got in touch with him. I said, listen, do you mind if I, rip apart your work? And he was like, yeah, let's go. And we just got talking, and he said, I've been working as a designer for like 15 years. So I was like, well, that explains the composition and lighting, right? So you can find Francois' work on ArtStation under 20TWO, also on Instagram, and he's also under François on Dribble as a designer. So, give him some love, guys. And this is gonna be difficult to rip apart because it's actually really good, but there are a few things that I would like to improve and talk about, but it's a really good example. So before we talk about the model, which I think is really cool, let's talk about the render, because that's what's the final product of anything that you do. Just 2 words before we start, guys. If you would like to support Josh and myself on Patreon as Blender Bros, a link in the video description, and critiques such as this one is just one of many perks that we offer to our patrons. So if you'd like to join us there, check out the link. Thanks. There are 2 images, right? This one and this one, and I think this one is better than this one, but they both have issues in my opinion, okay? And it's gonna be confusing what I'm gonna say next, because I will say this: the composition is great. There's one thing that I would improve though. The lighting is very good, but it could use some work. And what I mean by that is that the angle of the light and the way how it highlights the top of the of this vehicle, right, and how little spill you got on the floor is actually really well done. Because if you go to blend file, right, you'll see that there's a typical studio setup, okay? If I zoom it out, you'll see that there's infinite background and the lights on both sides, and they're angled properly towards the camera, backlighting this truck or vehicle, whatever it is, from the back, which gives these nice highlights, on the wheels, on the back, the rim light, everything, right? So it's really cool. The only beef I have with this one, right, and that's really the only beef in terms of lighting, is that the whole image is way too dark, okay? If you look at the Instagram, right, so we're gonna go to, camera row, you can see it in here, but see, all these tones are moved too far to the left, and it's fine for the image to be dark, yeah, it's not a problem, but in this case it's actually the places where it's pure black, and that's a problem. Like, here, right, it's all pure black, and see, the issue is that you can't see the details, and this is quite a large part of an image, right? And it's actually quite important because these are wheels and you would like to see the details, but you can't. So I think this, dark is fine, but this is way too dark, okay? So we're gonna fix this one, right? And this one, I think the lighting here could be better. I'm not sure if you changed the lighting at all when you turned the vehicle around. I think you didn't. And this is a problem. Every time I turn around things, I move the lights or I move myself, right? So it depends, but I think that there is not enough separation between the vehicle here, this shape and the background. Like here, you got a really nice separation, but here you don't, because light falls, I think, from where is the light here? It's actually, you can see light here, which means the light maybe doesn't even reach the truck, and that's the problem, right? Because if you look here, you see the light was actually reaching the truck, but then the truck on this side is much more lower, right? The height there's a height difference, okay? So maybe the light simply doesn't reach these wheels here, and that's why it just remains dark, and it literally blends with the background, right? And that's the issue for me, okay? So you have this cool model, because model is really cool, and you literally cannot see the details, like here everything is black, right? So this is the problem for me. Now, in terms of composition, this one is perfectly fine. This one is great, but I think it could be better. And there are two tiny changes that I'll do to fix this. I would either move this truck a tiny bit to the left. I mean, literally, like, you know, just a little bit. So the difference between left side and right side is different. And the reason for it is that because I have this information here, I would like to have more space in here, okay? So this bit's gonna move a little bit to the left. It's gonna fill this empty space. Or you could move one of these elements here, right? Or create some other element here, maybe a name of a truck, you know, or something. Just something missing in here, you know, just a bit heavy in this corner, right? Or perhaps maybe move this one, you know, underneath here, or, you know, move this one here, and then this one, move it here, right? We could play with this composition a bit and see how it works. So we could, for example, you know, move this frame a little bit to the left, right? And then we could grab this bit here and go to content aware fill and see if it's gonna be better. I'm losing my voice, guys. You see what I mean? It just becomes a little bit more horizontal, right? And if you want to see the difference, I can show you the difference, right? Wait, this is a raw render. Wait. Photoshop will not open two images in the same name. So you see what I mean? It's a slight movement, but for me this looks perfect. Yeah, this just is a bit off to my eye. Yeah, it's a literally 2 millimeters movement, but it just makes a huge difference, because now this opening here creates a room for this to exist, and the space here is much smaller and sort of filled, and because of you know, proximity of the wheel to the left side of this edge, this feels more natural to me than this one. Okay, see what I mean? This is a really, composition is an extremely difficult thing to teach, because it's a feeling. Okay, it's not a, you know, it's like baking in blender. Okay, it's not a science. It just you just gotta feel this thing. So it's really difficult to me to explain, but I hope you see this difference, right? And the same could be achieved by moving these, you know, because for example, this one is larger than this one, right? So I think maybe shuffling them around would be better. So it would correspond with the shape of the truck, because the shape of the truck, right, it goes down. It goes like this. So, you know, and this one goes like this. So if we shuffle them around, okay, so, you know, we move this one, which is higher, to the right, you know, let's actually do this. Okay, so let's copy this image, okay, and close it, and let's first of all let's hang on a second, let's grab this one, okay, and Control J, and then let's grab this one, right, and Control J, and turn them off. And then let's remove this, right? So we're going to run content aware fill. Okay, and then we can turn them on and we can shuffle them about, right? So we're gonna move this one here, right? And move this one to the left, okay? So see if it's gonna be better. Now, the problem is that the background will not match very well. We could actually fix it with maybe, where's my, here. We could probably fix it with some blending of layers or something, but you know what I mean? They're very difficult to fix, this one. But anyway, you get the point, right? So in my opinion, you know, maybe this is better, yeah? Because sort of creates a diagonal line, right? That corresponds with the truck, so you know what I mean, like this, yeah. So this could be better, because moving one of them to the left side, I think you just clutter this left side. So moving the truck is a better option, right? Moving a truck is a better option, yeah. So you know, something like this, possibly, yeah. And also this one is a bit too far to the left, so I would just move it a little bit to the right. But like I said, it's difficult to show you this precisely, because I would need to just create a selection of these two. I don't have these stickers, so it's a bit problematic. But anyway, you get the point. So the only thing, you know, I'm really bothered with, like, is the darkness of these wheels. Okay, this is really annoying me, but the rest of it is, you know, is brilliant. You know, it's really good. I don't even mind the fact that there's a brighter background in the back, because it's actually it draws more attention to the wheels. But you see now, because you have this brighter a patch of light in the back and the wheels are so bloody dark, yeah, you got this massive contrast in here, and that's where the eye is gonna go, because eye is gonna go first here, because obviously there's a lot of brightness, right? And by the way, I really like how these lights are designed. Okay, they have light in here too, so you got this triangle of lights, which is a very powerful compositional element, right? So you got this triangle of lights where eye is gonna bounce, but you also got this area of contrast here, and eyes will go to areas of contrast. And the problem is that you see nothing, because there's no detail, and that's the really huge problem for me in this particular render. So if I was rendering this, right, I would definitely go brighter. So if I'm gonna go to cycles and I'm gonna enable my photographer, right, I'm just gonna simply pump the exposure up. Okay, so I'm just gonna pump the exposure up and see what's gonna happen. Also, another problem that you have, right, the reason why these wheels are so dark is because the background, I mean the foreground, right, is probably really dark, right? See, there you go, and it doesn't reflect light. If I'm gonna make this brighter, right, okay, it's gonna start reflecting light, so we don't have reflections from the background. Also, I think because it's metallic, it's also limiting the reflections. If you remove the metallic, there's gonna be more light reflected back onto the scene. But you know, this is what we're working with. So what's the solution? Well, what you could do, for example, right, is you could we could either drop a reflector underneath or simply drop a source of light. And I'm not joking, I'm serious. So what I would do, for example, right, is literally grab a light. So just grab a point light, okay, and insert it near the wheels, so somewhere where I cannot see this. Okay, so let's say somewhere here, right? And if I go to camera, right, the whole point of this light here is to cast a little bit of brightness on. Whoa, where is the light? Here. Let me just point at the bottom. Good. So if I go to camera, right, and I'm gonna select this point light, I cannot be, you know, I cannot see this. So you see the dot is behind the wheel, and that's perfect. So now I could actually manipulate with this light. So if I go back to cycles, right, and I'm gonna increase the power of this light to maybe 200 watts, right? You see what it's gonna do? It's gonna actually light up the bottom. Maybe this is too strong. Okay, maybe what we need is 100. Okay, something like this, maybe. And let's try to render this. So let's see what we're gonna get. If it's too bright, yeah, you can always combine. You can always combine two images together. So you can grab the dark image, because you know the camera doesn't move, right? So you can combine two images into one. Oh, wait a minute, let me change the it's too long. Let me change the settings a little bit. Tiles 2048 2048, and also let me see this light path 6444. That's good. Don't need this. Need to enable my GPU system. There we go. Save preference. Actually, we could just bake it in optics. Probably. Let's go experimental. See what I mean? Look at the level of light now. Yeah, it's a little neat trick you can do, and literally now you can see all the wheels. And now the trick in Photoshop editing of this one, right, would be to would be to create, let me just save this, right? Would be to create, you know, a backdrop that is not as dark, yeah. So we could play with infinite color or whatever and create something similar, but I'm not gonna be creating similar toning. I'm gonna do something different, but because I like, you know, cyan colors, but you'll see the point. So what I would do in this situation, right, I would just copy this one and go to camera raw, and before the filter is applied, I would literally lift everything up, okay? Right, I would lift everything up just a little bit, okay? And when I'm gonna be working on my clarity, right, I'm going to turn clarity on and shadows up. So when my clarity kicks in, it's actually pumps the shadows up, because clarity, what it does, right, it's actually increases the deepens the shadows. And I see that what it did is actually lifted the whole thing up, right? And it still actually remains, you know, darkish, right? So that's important. And then you can play with this one, you know, as much as you want. I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna be doing it, but I could, for example, go to Pro Contrast, right? This thing is really good. So we could, you know, play with this a little bit and see what we're gonna get. This is pretty cool, right? And what I would normally do, right? I would simply grab this. This is a render, right? So watch this. I would grab this one, right? I would grab the background and remove the background completely, okay? And now I simply would render the image one more time, right? Very quickly, okay? And the reason why I'm doing it, right? This is funny. Cycles render 19 seconds or something. What was it? 37 seconds. Guys, this 390 is fucking insane. It's just turning rendering into a fucking joke. There you go, rendered. Anyway, so let me just type to here. Also, I think light's gonna be a problem, so we need to do it again. And we're gonna turn off the bloom in here, okay? I don't want the bloom, right? Because the bloom, what it's gonna cause, the bloom is gonna actually create like a glow around the image, and this will be problematic in terms of the selection in Photoshop, because what I'm trying to do now is create just a vehicle silhouette, so I can select it in Photoshop, and you will see what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna simply use it to manipulate with the background, right? So 18 seconds render. Jesus Christ, man. Let's save it as a 3 on the desktop, okay? And where is it? This is 3, right? Okay, so let's go to Photoshop and hold Shift and drop it in. And now, oh, there's no alpha in here, right? Let me go to output and change to RGB alpha. And now one more time, unfortunately, you need to have this alpha enabled if you wanna render a seamless background. So if you don't turn this option on, whether it's TIFF on PNG, you will not see the transparent background. So it's important to have it on. And it doesn't take much time to render it, so it's okay. Alright, so let's make it TF33, good. Save it, and then now we can bring this to Photoshop, okay? So grab it here, hold Shift and drop it. There you go. So now what I can do, right? Now I can actually select this vehicle, right? So create a selection of this vehicle and I can hide it, okay? So now with this selection, right, I can drop curves, okay? And I can invert the mask, so the car is gonna be black and the background is gonna be white, meaning I can actually now grab this and literally darken the background, you see? Neat trick, no? And boom, there's your render, you see what I mean? So now you got the dark background and you actually got everything visible, you know, with this vehicle, right? And you can just keep playing with your with your design. But like I said, the selection has to be very precise, otherwise you're gonna get halos. So this is why it's important to render background-less image, and you know, and there you go. And if you want to achieve the same color, then it's really easy. I mean, you could go to swatches, right? Ah, swatches here, man, I'm blind. Search swatches, brown. There we go, brown, dark brown, something like that. And we could do is use solid color, right? And we could select this one, and then simply multiply or darken. Let me see these blend modes here. Soft light maybe would be good. Yeah, there you go, soft light. So you know, you could just play with these colors, and you could actually copy the mask over here, right? And you could simply reduce the opacity and density of this mask, right? So make this car a bit darker, and feather it so it's gonna spill into the car a bit more, right? So you can just play with the toning, and you got you know, something like this. So like I said, this is in my opinion much better than, you know, than this, right? I mean, I really like the color here. I would keep the color. The toning is brilliant. Yeah, I really love the toning, but I don't like the level of darkness. You see, now you can see all these intricate details that you've been working on, right? Everything is visible, even though it's actually darker than, you know, than the top of the vehicle. And you could still, you know, you could still play with the curves. So you could, for example, you know, brighten the top a little bit, right? And you could simply, you know, invert the mask and grab a brush and right, and simply, you know, brighten the top, and then simply remove it from, you know, darker tones. So you're gonna get this kind of like a dodging effect on top, right? And change the luminosity, create another mask, grab these buggers and darken it down. Or let's just darken it, all of it, and then simply darken down whatever you want to darken down, right? So remove it from the brighter tones, right? Okay, and change the luminosity, and then you can adjust the darkness of this, right? How dark you want these darker parts to be. So you can redirect your attention of the viewer, you know, to the whole truck, to the top. You see what I mean? There's a lot you can do with post-processing, and you can't do it in Blender because there's no fucking way you can have so much control with light and shadows in Blender. I mean, this is just, you know, you have to spend hours doing it, whereas in Photoshop you can do it instantly, right? So this is how I would, you know, go about editing this truck. And like I said, now we got a little bit more space in here. I wonder, I must have moved the camera or something further away, because actually this truck is further away now, so the composition shifted a bit, but it gives you a bit more room here for your logos. It could be a bit closer, to be honest, you know, maybe something like this, right? But this one is alright too. So anyway, guys, this would be it. Now in terms of design, yeah, design is pretty cool. How is the modeling? Modeling is good. You need some bevels on it, mate, yeah? You can't use it without bevels, and because you can see that everything is falling apart, meaning you need some cleaning. You got some cleaning to do, and weighted normals. Yeah, this should be cleaned up. Yeah, it's a bit of a pig in here. I don't know what's happening here. Oh, it's actually non-manifold. Are you preparing this for gaming or something? Because that's what it looks like. What is going on here, man? I think it's just simply non-manifold. That's the beef. You got some double verts in here, or verts being too close to the edges, etc. So there's a lot of issues in here, right? But you know, you really need bevels, mate. You can't run this thing without bevels. Here, oh, it's all sharp edges, and this actually causes problem in rendering, because you know, renders will not come out as as nice as they could. No bevels here too. These are not beveled as well. I really like this design here of these engines. That's pretty cool. Very simple but very cool. And someone was using the hard ups cloth. That's really cool, man. How is it made? Oh, it's an array and then it's displaced. That is pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. I really like this. Very cool idea. So, you know, the idea is really nice, yeah. The design, you know, the concept, yeah. That's a doorway, I suppose. Which is a little bit small, to be honest, comparing to the stairs and the, you know, because if you look at the size of the stairs, you would imagine that the human is, you know, quite large. So I would wonder how do they fit in, you know, through here. It's a bit tight, yeah. So maybe could use a bit of a different design. Got some shading issues here all over the place, right? See that? This is caused probably by this edge. So watch. If I have an edge like this, right, this is what you want to avoid. You see this corner here? This shading is caused by this edge, and you don't really need this edge because everything is connected, and when you remove it, everything should improve, and it doesn't because what is going on here? I mean, let me just grab this piece. There's something not right here. There's a piece on top of a piece? What is going on here? Is it a double piece? Let me delete this. I think I got double geo, man. Yeah, you got a double geo. For some reason. So anyway, you know, you don't need these, yeah? Because they support it here. So boom, see? Clean shading. All these lines going from corners. Bad idea, yeah? Very bad idea. So... same here, like this one is too close, yeah? You gotta remove this. It's gonna cause shading problems. And there's some issue here too. What is going on here? Oh, it's just a shadow. That's okay. That's a decal. What decal pack is this? I've never seen this one before. Is it your personal decal pack? That's a pretty cool decal, man. Or is it... wait a minute, it looks like Josh decal. Is it? Man, we made so many decals I don't even know anymore. So yeah, that's pretty cool. This could be slightly of a different shape, maybe rectangular, maybe something, you know, trapezoidal, slightly, you know what I mean, to follow in the shape of a truck. I think it would be better. This is a bit of a lazy kind of drop on the top. Could be slightly reshaped. So there you go. But other than that, you know, pretty cool. So yeah, definitely work on the connecting, you know, bull cuts with the edges of the islands. Watch your shading. See here, same problem. Look, it just pulls from a corner, right? You don't need this edge, mate. Yeah, because this curves, yeah, and anything on top of this one is gonna cause issues, right? You don't need them because they connected here, so it's fine. All these lines here, you know, just unnecessary geo, right? So you want to get rid of these, because when you start cutting stuff, that's where the problem gonna pop, okay? So that's important, right? I think other than that is you know, it's cool. I really like the wheels, man. The wheels are pretty cool, very elaborate and interesting. Also the interesting concept of combining them together. It looks like brakes or something being sort of spread between two wheels, kind of interesting. So cool stuff. Anyway, guys, so well, that's it for this video, I think. So you know, my only main beef would be the darkness of the render, because you really want to see these details, right? You see what I mean now, right? By simply placing a light over there inside, which no one can see, dropping the power of the light to a level where it shines and it literally looks like a reflection or a bounce, not like a main light somewhere underneath. it will light up this whole interior, underneath the car, and it just makes it, you know, much more visible. So you could still go for this dark, sort of dark theme, but with a bit more control in terms of lighting on the car itself. And also by separating truck from the background allows you to control the light level on the ground, on the floor, because in cycles it's very difficult to control the spill of the light on the floor. In EV you can change the how far the light you know, shines, so the fall off basically, right, which is physically incorrect, but it actually allows for controlling the light really well. In cycles you need to use flags or simply manipulate with the light power to change the amount of light being spilled on the floor, because sometimes these spills are, you know, are not undesirable. But in this case I think it actually works, because it sort of closes the parameter around the car, and it sort of defines it from, you know, from the background. And you see now, because the truck is lighter, right, is brighter, it stands out from the background really well. It's just you can clearly see that this is the main focus now, and anything else is just a filler. Okay, whereas here, you know, areas like this here, right, and this here, the bright spots, are literally almost as bright as this, right? So you get a little bit confused, but I really like the toning. The toning is genius. Yeah, this is beautiful toning for this one. I really like it. So there you go. Well guys, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Give us a like and sub if you did. And one more time, thanks a lot for sending the file, mate. I really enjoyed this. Catch you next video, guys.